read a little bit from the start of Submarine, and I'll read a little bit from further in. I don't know if you are interested in buying the book, but one advantage to buying it is you get the largest author photo in all of literature. In fact, you can use it as a cut-out and keep mask. So I'll just read from a little bit from the beginning. The first chapter is called Triskaidekaphobia, which is a word that means the fear of the number 13. It is Sunday morning. I hear our modem playing bad jazz as my mother connects to the internet. I am in the bathroom. I recently discovered that my mother has been typing the names of as yet uninvented mental conditions into Yahoo's search engine. Delusion syndrome teenage, overactive imagination problem, holistic behavioural stabilizers. When you type delusion syndrome teenage into Yahoo, the first page it offers you is to do with Cotard syndrome. Cotard syndrome is a branch of autism where people believe they are dead. The website features some choice quotes from victims of the disease. For a while, I was slipping these phrases into lulls in conversation at dinner time or when my mother asked about my day at school. My body has been replaced by a shell. My internal organs are made of stone. I have been dead for years. I stopped saying these things. The more I pretended to be a corpse, the less open she became about issues of mental health. I used to write questionnaires for my parents. I wanted to get to know them better. I asked things like, what hereditary illnesses am I likely to inherit? What money and land am I likely to inherit? If your child was adopted, at what age would you choose to tell him about his real mother? A, 4 to 8 years, B, 9 to 14 years, C, 15 to 18 years. I am nearly 15. They looked over the questionnaires, but they never answered them. Since then, I've been using covert analysis to discover my parents' secrets. I have also learned that my parents have not had sex in 2 months. I monitor their intimacy via the dimmer switch in their bedroom. I know when they've been at it because the next morning the dial will be set to halfway. I also discovered that my father suffers from bouts of depression. I found an empty bottle of tricyclic antidepressants that were in the wicker bin under his bedside table. Depression comes in bouts like boxing. Dad is in the blue corner. It takes all of my intuition to find out when a bout of my father's depression has started. Here are 2 signals. 1, I can hear him emptying the dishwasher from my attic room. 2, he presses so hard when he handwrites that it is possible, in a certain light, to see 2 or 3 days' worth of notes indented in the surface of our plastic Easy Clean tablecloth. Gone to yoga, lamb in fridge, Lloyd. Gone to Sainsbury's, Lloyd. Please record Channel 4, 9 PM, Lloyd. My father does not watch TV, he just records things. There are ways of detecting that a bout of depression has finished. If Dad makes an elaborate play on words or does an impression of a gay or oriental person, these are good signs. In order to plan ahead, it's in my interest to know about my parents' mental problems. I have not established the correct word for my mother's condition. She's lucky because her mental health problems can be mistaken for character traits, neighbourliness, charm, placidity. I've learned more about human nature from watching ITV's weekday morning chat shows than she has in her whole life. I tell her, you are unwilling to address the vacuum in your interpersonal experiences, but she does not listen. There is some evidence that my mother's job is to blame for her state of mental health. She works for the council's Legal and Democratic Services Department. She has many colleagues. One of the rules in her office is that if it's your birthday, you are held responsible for bringing your own cake to work. All of which brings me back to the medicine cabinet. So I'll just stop there in the first chapter and skip forward a bit. Oliver becomes implicated in bullying this girl at school, and after that's happened he starts to feel guilty and wonders how he could kind of help her, and he decides that he's going to write Zoe a pamphlet explaining to her how better she can fit in school. And that's what I'm going to read as the pamphlet, which is called How to Fit In with People You Don't Like, Even When You Are an Endomorph, or The Art of Being Two Species at Once. Part 1, Breaking the Victim Cycle. Victims stay victims because they behave like victims. Zoe, if something bad happens to you, ignore it. Do not try and talk it out. Chips is very astute. Chips is the kind of malevolent bully figure. Chips is very astute. He knows you are weak because you chat to dinner ladies at lunchtime. He has also seen you write in your diary, and in the same way that he would want to see the x-rays if you broke your nose, he wants to see his name immortalised. Part 2. Harnessing your inner bully. Bullying is an art form. It can be learnt. It's all in your attitude. Here are some hints on tapping into your latent bully. Learn to show no shock, pain or embarrassment. Here are 2 examples. Do you remember when Rydian Bird pulled down his trousers in the playground to fart? When he followed through, curling an unhealthy-looking turd onto the tarmac? He didn't look embarrassed, quite the opposite. He screamed with laughter and pointed. Nobody can tease him about it because he is so proud. 2. During maths, I famously stabbed Paul Gottlieb in the back repeatedly with my compass. He said nothing, showed no discomfort as his shirt blossomed with blood poppies. His stoicism reminded me of the brave men who died in the First World War. Every year, on that day, I hold a minute's silence in his honour. Exercise 1. How to give a Chinese burn. Practice on kitchen roll. How many sheets of Bounty extra absorbent can you twist and tear through? 1 sheet is poor, 5 is excruciating. Part 3. Finding your special skill. With some training, you will notice that everyone who is not bullied has a special skill. You must find a skill of your own if you wish to fit in. Fo Chu should be your idol. He is fatter than you, can hardly speak English, and yet he flourishes on account of combining 2 special skills. 1, he always wears brand new trainers. 2, he propagates the belief that he is a respected member of the triads. Part 4. Tricking your older self. Bullies don't write diaries. Bullies never remember all the bad things they've done. They just remember the good times. Part of the reason for this is they keep no record of their cruelty. Here is an example of a diary that will never exist. Diary. I feel so shitty about Zoe. She'd probably be alright if I got to know her. I can be such a meanie sometimes. I just see her as this emotionless blob. How the hell would I feel being teased all day? I'm no stunner myself. At least Zoe does something with her life. She helps out with the school plays, painting the sets and stuff. What do I do? Exactly. Chips. If you feel that you must write a diary, be aware that you are writing not to document your misery, but to make your future self happy. Your diary should be a nepenthe, and that is a word that means something that helps you forget sorrow and suffering. Exercise 2. Write a diary, imagining that you are trying to make an old person jealous. I've written an example to get you started. Dear Diary, I spent the morning admiring my skin elasticity. God alive, I feel supple. In the late morning, I met a girl in the bandstand. We did cartwheels, headstands, the crab, then we shared our perfect bodies. I read small print without squinting. I hear all sorts of minute noises. I never ask the question, am I happy? Even my imaginary experiences are more real and vivid than the day-to-day lives of the over 40s. While walking home from the park, I annihilated the Death Star, discovered a pan-dimensional portal, and shrank myself to the size of a dust mite. I am not remotely tired. God alive, I feel supple. I think I will spend the rest of the evening standing on one leg. Good day, Oliver. Part 5. Kids can be cruel, a mitigation. In your diary, you mentioned Jean, the dinner lady, using the phrase, kids can be cruel. Adults use this phrase to trick themselves into not feeling guilty about the bad things that they did as children. Part 6, last part. Only being yourself inside your head. You must be willing to transform any facet of your personality to fit in. After they called me posh in primary school, I changed my accent to sound more poor, cutting out the vowels like Marks and Spencer's labels for my shirts. It is okay to study as long as you do so in private, and while in class you maintain a facade of indifference. Exercise 3. Look in the mirror, making your facial expression suggest boredom while you are secretly running through your tenses. Je mange, tu manges, il mange, elle mange. Zoe, I've seen you steal sachets of mayonnaise. I've seen you covertly eat iced buns in class. Channel your mischievous streak. Like food, I know you've got it in you. And if you ever feel that you are all alone, then remember this. There are more fat people in the world today than there are hungry people. And if I had to use a word to describe you, it would be zaftig, which means to be desirably plump and curvaceous. Good luck, endomorph. Note, in keeping with the above rules, I will not stop bullying you until someone else stops first. That's the way things work.